Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxchair, on the show this evening is the one and only AK and a young legend that is our Robert. Evening, boys.
Evening, Oxchair. Evening, Rob, the techie team, and everybody that's listening.
Evening, Rob.
Evening, Ox. Evening, AK. Welcome to the show, everybody. Looking forward to tonight's conversation.
I think you've been telling off before the show started, AK. I think you're on a naughty step already.
Naughty step again, aye. Nothing unusual, Ox.
Watch you don't fall off it. We don't want you wearing time off your work.
Well, can't be having that. I'm under observation as it is.
They were. How we doing, mate? You all right?
Aye, I'm fine, pal. I'm fine. Looking forward to a good show.
How's Rob?
Good, mate. Good. Excitement's building ahead of the weekend. It's going to be the first of many exciting weekends, I'm sure, mate. And hopefully we get after a good start come Sunday.
Aye, mate. If we win it, it's just like the turn of the screw, innit? You know, AK in it. It just cranks it up just a wee bit every victory. Yeah?
Certainly does, Ox. Certainly does. We want to keep the wins rolling in before the split happens. So it's every game's important now, Ox. It's just a bit of applying pressure or exerting pressure. We might be on catch up. We might be having an opportunity to go top the league depending on results on the Saturday before we play on the Sunday.
Just win, AK. Yeah.
Yeah, simple as that, pal. Yep.
Rob, just win.
Well, that's it, mate. Just win in any form that's going to be. If it's a nervy bridge, man, we'll all take it to the end of the season. May not do the heart any good, right enough, but it's the victories that count, mate. So we've said it for a number of weeks, it's the business end of the season, but you always know when it comes to that split time, that's when games can be won, games can be lost. But at this time this season, mate, there's a title to be won, and we're right in the hunt. So let's go and do it. And that starts come Sunday against Falkirk. Tricky place to go, as we've seen in the past, but it's a time to right a few wrongs, mate, come Sunday.
Listen, mate, 6 prize match for you at the end of the season. We'll need to go and visit AK. You get the grapes, I'll get the Lucas, yeah. 6 prize match, AK.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be the choice, but we would certainly take the 3 points. But there'll be a few squeaky bums watching at home and in the stadiums if that was the case.
Right, obviously there's a few stories broke, but I think the way to start the show is if we hear from Danny Rowe, and that'll give us my talking points. Is that fair?
Getting an injury update on Ryan Nadiri. How is he?
Not well. We assessed him. I think it's a serious one. We don't know when he's back. I think general by this kind of injury, if you have muscle injury, then you have to look week by week. We have to rescan him in 2 weeks, and then we will know more about how long.
I know you don't know specifically. Is there a hope that he'll still be able to feature again at some point this season?
The hope is always there, but I think we have to wait until in 2 weeks, and then we see a little bit more how it goes with the treatments, all those things.
Just how big a blow is that? Because he's been playing a big part for you over the last few weeks, and with big games coming up too.
Yeah, general, I think it's always not nice when you lose players from your squad. I think sometimes in football it happens. For this we need everyone in the squad. I said this many times. General, I think Ryan made a great impact since he arrived, not just the goals, and he worked hard for this first goal now since a couple of weeks, but also a lot of work off the ball, against the ball, a lot of runs for the team. But it's football, yeah, we have to look for a new solution then again. We have a lot of players that are available, they are ready for this, and yeah, we have to stick together and then we go forward, of course.
Final game coming up before the split this weekend. What are you expecting away at Falkirk?
Yeah, I think general at first, a big respect to Falkirk. I think they're playing a good season, a good development. Manager did a good job with them. I think not just the promotions, even now to come in the first 6 of the table. I think this is a great achievement so far. They're still in the cup. I think this is nice for them as well. Yeah, and it means as well we will face an opponent. They have nothing to lose now. I think they can just win, and it is for some teams nice, because in some moments you can also gamble. Yeah, you can go more offensive. You have nothing to lose. We have to prepare, but we are prepared. We are ready for this game. We want to win the final game before the split to have a great opportunity then in the split.
Danny, will Ryan's absence, will that make you rethink your formation up top, or do you think someone can just fit in like Bojan?
Yeah, I think general, when you look to the last game, we start with Telo and Ryan, and we keep still our formation. Telo gives us a little bit a different element. He can be a 10, but also on the last line. We have with Bojan the second striker available as well. I think that depends then a little bit how we go in the game. But both are ready, and I think for Telo, yeah, he was involved in the first goal. He was, of course, involved in his own goal. Then he made the chip ball to Skoff, and Skoff then to Duchamp. I think he played a good game. He's physically strong. He worked really hard, even when he was not available or when he was not in the starting 11. I think that was a big compliment. Showed a lot of personality and character, and yeah, but it's also good to have Bojan available. He is very clinical in his finishing. Both are different kinds of players. Yeah, but I remember when we won 8 games in a row. I think we not always played with 2 strikers, and it gives me also confidence.
Could you give us a definitive, do you have a definitive now on when Tour Romans will be back?
Tour, yeah, had 1 more treatments this week. It was very successful. This weekend will be too early, but it looks great that he is back. Maybe the first, if everything goes well, but latest the second game in the split, and it gives me also confidence. I think this is good next week. Also with the schedule, we have not straight the first on Saturday. Every game is a little bit later, yeah, Sunday or Monday. That gives us more time.
What do you make of the post schedule, and what do you think is going to be down to whoever handles the special test?
Yeah, general, I think very exciting schedule. Yeah, you can make your own opinion what you mean. For me, it was clear, for us it was clear which teams we will face. It was just about when. We have to take game by game. Yeah, and I think that makes the most important thing, that we look not to other things. For me, it's more important that we focus what we can influence, and this our performance in every game.
What do you think it'll come down to? Sorry.
Yeah, general, everything is possible. Yeah, I said this before. I think the last match day is interesting to see. I said many times, last match day, and with this fixture, it's really possible that all the 3 teams play on the last final match day for the title. But in the past, it was also over after the second or the third match day in the split, and it could be as well a great opportunity for us. Yeah, take our wins and start with 3 wins in the split. looks maybe also not so bad for us. Yeah, but it makes no sense to look too much. Let's beat Falkirk with a tough one away, and then we have a tough home game against Motherwell, and then we have 2 tough away games.
Danny, you've obviously lost Ryan, but you've scored, I think your 8 last goals have been 8 different goal scorers. Do you feel you've got the attacking depth now, Tello and even Jeji Kasama coming into a bit of form, and your team is creating more chances at the moment? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think general, I'm not 100% clear, but we have in the last couple of weeks we scored 4, 5, a lot of goals with different goal scorers. This is always great. We have to use our chances. We create again. Yeah, even when we look back on the weekend, we could easily score 6, 7. But on the other side, we should also not. We should be honest to ourselves. They had also big opportunity to make the 3-3, or even one long ball in behind when a Czech makes a good save. I think these are things what we have to improve. For a away game, it's always to have a clean sheet very important, and if you do this, then we have a great opportunity to win games.
Well, thanks for that, Mr. Fox. Bad news and some positive news. AK.
It's disappointing to hear about the Naderi situation, Ox. We weren't sure about how it was getting reported, whether the strength of the rumours were true or not, but it seems to be confirmed by the gaffer that it's no good news. But they're going to obviously work on it and reassess it again every few days or every couple of weeks. You'll know better, but it certainly doesn't sound good, which is bad news for the player. First and foremost, but also the team and the manager as well. But it gives an opportunity for us to step up, Ox, as we've always said.
Your take on it, Robert, plus slightly positive news about Romans?
Aye, certainly, mate. First of all, Nadiri, obviously we did hear the rumour during the week. Still, he's not really confirmed that its season's over. Reading between the lines, though, Ox, for me, when he said there's always hope, it seems that he's thinking worst case scenario, the season's over, and he'll hope that maybe the scan in 2 weeks' time isn't as bad as first feared. But as AK said, it's down to the players that come in, whether that's Asgard, Miovski or anybody else, to step up to the floor. Opportunity presents itself. I know a lot of focus has been on Nadiri's lack of goal scoring, of course, because he's been brought in as a striker, but I think his general play Ox is a massive thing that a lot of people don't realise what he brings to the team. His movement, his energy, his work rate, the aerial threat he offers. He creates a lot of space for others, particularly Mikey Muir run into. So that'll be a big miss. But in the Romans, positive, mate. It seems a lot more positive than what it was a few days ago. And hopefully he's back for at least maybe the second game, it seems, which will be away to Hearts at Tynecastle. And then obviously the Old Firm after that. So he's coming back at probably the right time as well. But listen, we've got young Magoma there who, as we've seen over the course of the season, is more than ready and steady enough to fill that position. Meantime,
I would like Romans back as well. Being selfish, AK, but I think by the sounds of it, they said this game just come too early. That suggests he's close. And in 2 weeks' time, I don't see why not, AK.
Aye, let's hope so. Let's hope. Listen, you've been a big advocate for Magoma all season, and you're right. For a young lad that's just come up to a new country, a new environment, a new club, loads of pressure on him. He's fitted in very well, considering he was basically our only option for a lot of the season. But Romans is just, he brings something completely different, a different level, going forward and in defence. But he'll learn a lot of his kind of loan spell up here, young Magoma, but he's got to realise he's still got a job to do for the team, and he is important for the manager and the squad. But he's been a fantastic loan signing in his period as there. But aye, the sooner we would all like to see Romans back in the team, the better, going forward. And that's nothing against Magoma at all.
No, I think you're spot on there, Ricky. I think you're spot on. Nothing against young Jaden. I think he's done okay, and I think he's got a bright future in the game. I don't know if he's going to be a left back. That's the thing. I don't know if that's his position, but we'll see what the future holds for him. But hopefully, it's a good game on Sunday. And I know that his physicality can be targeted, but in a lot of the games he stood up to the task, and he's been steady, Robert, hasn't he? He's been steady.
It has, mate. It has been steady. And one thing as well that he's got in similar attributes to Romans is he gets forward a lot. It's not like you're losing an attacking fullback and having a defensive kind of aspect there. Somebody that doesn't bomb forward. He does like to get forward. He had a good relationship with Mikey Moore before Romans came in as well. So you're losing the physicality, maybe a wee bit of quality in there as well, but you're still getting that engine. Somebody that's willing to go deep, go on forward runs. He's not got a bad delivery as well with his left foot. We know he can take set pieces as well. So it does bring a lot of attributes quite similar to Romans, but obviously the physical aspect is what he lacks. But in terms of footballing ability, then he's certainly the kind of level par or just slightly under Romans, but he still offers us a lot going forward. But he will do well. He's done well all season, and as AK said, coming into Ibrox, into Rangers as a young boy, not played a lot of football. He's not done many bad games or mistakes in him. We could see his frailties, his learning, his development, but he's improved week in, week out, and he'll continue to do that at the end of the season, I'm sure. Whether that's most of these games or bit parts of these games when Romans is back fit, then he'll do well for him, sure.
He's been getting on, because obviously Romans was building up his fitness. He was getting out of a wee injury, and then he was playing and coming off. But I just think when I've seen the two of them, and they're two really young men, really. Obviously there's a couple of years between them, but they're still at the start of their careers, both of them, even Romans. I just thought that Romans has just looked a cut above, if I'm being honest. It just looks a cut above. And as you say, AK, that's not a slight to young Jaden, is it?
No, definitely no. It just gives an indication of where Magoma needs to get to, and credit to Romans. His clubs that he's been at already, the stage he's got his career, he's just a couple of years down the line. So that's what the level is for me, Magoma, to get to. And the fact that he's been out of our club and he's no let to sell down, there's a lot of ticks on his box to take back and use for the rest of his career. Which again, I can only compliment you, young Magoma, because it's coming into the environment that he's come into isn't easy. You either sink or swim, and there's been better players than Magoma at sank, and you just need to look to his opposite wing there with Aarons. He's not exactly flourished this year, so that's how easily you can the atmosphere, the whole thing about Ibrox, the swamp that it can be for a player. You can lose ground very easily with supporters if you don't perform, and Magoma hasn't gave us any real concern, basically.
You might want to write that one down. You might want to keep it for any future sick notes, mate. Ticks in box, yeah? That's maybe one you've no used. Right?
Everyone's an exercise.
Keep that one. You never know, mate. You need an original, all right? Right, well, we'll hear the second part for Danny Rowe, Robert, and then we'll get the phone lines open, yes?
Sounds like a plan, mate.
Yes. Let's hear for the gaffer, Danny Rowe.
Danny, the away record has been something that's been an issue lately. I think it's only won in the last 4 away from home, with 4 games away from home in the last 6. Is that something that you're confident you can overcome?
Oh, you're very critical with this form today, I must say. Yeah, of course, I think we showed against St. Mirren in a tough place to take a result. That was great. We had also opportunities to win the other away games, but we didn't. And now we have the next opportunity against a good opponent. I think this season we couldn't win against Falkirk, but, and in this case we're a little bit rule breaker, We spoke before St. Mirren about this. We spoke about Dundee. We couldn't win in Aberdeen for a couple of years, and we did this season, and I think it gives me again a positive feeling when we go to Falkirk.
Last time the team was at Falkirk ended up being the last game for Russell Martin. A lot of pictures that day. But there's a part of you that's thinking, well, with the way it's set up for the end of the season, you're going back there on the final day, that you can have a happier ending to this story.
Yeah, you see in football how developments goes. Maybe it was really the deepest deep point, but it happens in football. We turn it in the right direction. My team turned it in the right direction, and this is outstanding. And now we worked so hard, and my wish is that we continue this run, what we had so far. I was surprised, I'm not sure it's really true, but I was surprised when I look back after the Hearts game away. We were 15 points behind them. Looks massive, and now we have 16th game later. It's 1 point. But the key message is, at the end, if it's 1 point, 2 points or 3 points, and you don't win the title, then we will be still disappointed, because we are now so close, and I think this is a big part of what we want. We can achieve something, and for this we have to deliver.
Danny, I wonder how important psychologically it is to win against Falkirk going into the split, but also, as Andy said, knowing that you're going to be back there on the final day.
Yeah, I think it's a new situation for us, that you have in 4 weeks 2 times this opponent, 2 times away. But again, nobody knows in this room what is in 4 or 5 weeks on the final match day the situation. We know now the situation that we are 1 point behind Hearts. Both other opponents play in front of us. We have to deliver again, and then after the Falkirk game away, we knew what is the position for the split, and hopefully we have maybe a better position than now.
You said last week that you've got the quality in the dressing room to win the title. Do you think the belief is there as well? Have you seen the belief growing? Because a lot of these guys maybe haven't been in this situation before.
Yeah, we are really focused. I think this is key. Focused on the content and our work on the pitch. At the moment we are not dream too far away. We look to the next game. Good training sessions, what we have so far. We have to manage some players at the minute. We spoke about Ryan, but we have also some other players. They have some small issues at the minute. But these are normal things. At the end of the season, it's then a long season with a lot of games. But all in all, I'm happy with the group. And we have to believe, we have the quality, we have the mindset and the mentality to win this title.
Does Manny Fernandez come back into your thinking for Sunday?
Yeah, Manny, I think that was a decision from my side. Manny travelled a lot. I think it was his first experience with the national team. We have with John as well as centre back available. Derek is back in the trainings group. And even on this position we have a competition, and this is good for us. It's also good for Manny to push, not to be comfortable in a position. And I think general we won 4-2, and then my choice was not so wrong.
And is the intention still to travel to Spain or after the Falkirk game, and what benefits do you hope from the Modern Weather training camp?
Yeah, we will go next week from Monday to Friday. I'm totally convinced that it's a great environment to get 3-4 days together. I had great experience with Munich when we won the Champions League. We had also a small camp, not in Spain but in Portugal. That gives a good spirit. You have really nothing else around. You can find a good balance between training but also have some activity off the pitch. I think this is also crucial. I have time with the board to speak about other topics. We go there together, and I'm really looking forward. But the most important thing is that we get the result on Sunday, and then we will have a good week, and then we come back, and then we are ready for 5 finals.
Danny, there's this surprising fact that the top 3 have only won on the same weekend once all season. Does that say something about the competitiveness of this division, and also just how dangerous these remaining fixtures are for all the title challengers?
I think dangerous. I think it is. It's crazy that you have this. That was just only 1 week that all the 3 teams won. Hopefully on the weekend we make our win. Then we don't care about the other 2 opponents in this race. Of course, it shows that every game it's a different one, and I think especially now in the split, you have teams they play with more freedom, what I said, and they can play with more risk and they can more enjoy. We will also enjoy, but always after when we win the game, then you can enjoy games, never before. That is normal, and it shows that there could be a lot of up and downs in this race as well. You never won something after 1 game. In the other direction, you never lose something after 1 game, and I think this is crucial. But I'm honest to you, I didn't speak too much about the schedule and the split at the minute. For me, it was really about Falkirk now, and then the next game is Motherwell, and that's it. Because you don't know what happens on the first match day, the second, the third. Maybe there's so much more in. We did well in the last couple of weeks to speak about our finals, make step by step. And if you want now, you have also a tournament from 6 games to go. And if you win this, then you have a great final.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, interesting. Danny Rowe, I think he's a shrewd operator, AK.
He just bats away their questions, doesn't he? The narrative that they bring to the table, he's quick to see through their questions. The guy's on about their away form and that, but he doesn't mention anything about the VAR that denied Rangers potential opportunities to win the games. He's clever. He's very, very clever, but he sees them coming. He's very shrewd. It's just winning the next game. That's all he's focusing on, and then everything else will take care of itself. The way the fixtures have came out, people might be up arms about this and that, Ian, but you have to play everybody. Anyway, we all knew that. We all knew we had to go to Parkhead and Tynecastle, and then it's just how the other fixtures have worked out. But listen, if we keep winning, it's in our hands, so they can't stop that, Ox.
Aye, I agree. I just don't like the split. I just don't see the sense of it. I think it's open for manipulation. It's open for the lacks integrity for your league. That's just me. And I don't, as I said last night, I don't think that's what's made this final stage of the season exciting. It's because it's close. It's nothing to do with the split. I just don't. I think it creates noise and controversy that we don't need, and I just don't think it's good for integrity. Just my take on it, Rob.
I've obviously spoke all week, mate, about the split, especially once the fixtures came out, and there was that debate about how we're having to go to Falkirk 3 times in one season. The only team that's playing in a plastic park 3 times this season as well. I'm led to believe. And you're playing them, Danny Rowe mentioned it, you're playing them twice in the space of 4 or 5 weeks, both away from home. It's very unique, and that's what the split does. It throws that curveball up, but as AK says, we know the hand we've been dealt with, but the title's in your hand, so that's a bigger incentive than anything that they can fling at us, is to go and get the job done. They might try and make it difficult, they might try and make it hard, but we get the title up in their faces at the end of the season, mate. That's the big, say that the night, the big 2 fingers up at them. So listen, we know what's at stake, we know who we've got to play, when we've got to play. It's just about ticking the games off one by one, and that will come on Sunday away to Falkirk. And obviously the question there was about the away form. Ox, we've only lost one away game all season, mate. Hearts at Tynecastle, and in that game as well there was controversy. So I know people look at the stats over the last few away games, but one defeat away from home all season compared to the rest of the league, it's actually quite remarkable given where we've been in the performances we've saw. But I know the focus will be on the last few, but you're only as good as your last game, and that last game's in the past. The focus is now on the future, and that's Sunday coming.
Aye, he made an interesting observation. 15 points behind Hearts after we played them at Tynecastle, mate. You know, and now we're 1 point. So, where's the fear in the form, AK? Doesn't add up statistically, does it?
No, it does not. It does not. And I've said that the last couple of shows. You know, I like to look at these things, and the form table suggests that Rangers are the form team in the country. And statistically, it proves that with the amount of points that we've accumulated, the goals that we've scored, and the defensive record that we have. We've made up a significant amount of points and goals on both the Hearts and Celtic. We're past Celtic. We're right on the tail of Hearts. So we've got nothing to fear here at all. So let's no fear the challenge, embrace it.
Here. Rob?
I just echo what AK says. There's nothing to fear. The stats show, and I know everybody's not a big fan of them, but they're there to be looked at, and they prove that we are the team in form. We're on the ascendancy. We've came from absolute nowhere, where a lot of people had wrote us off. Even Martin O'Neill from across the city said we're no threat whatsoever before he got the job. Now look at us, we're causing a bigger threat than even some of our own support thought. So we're there, mate. We're there. We're in the hunt, and we've got every right to believe we can go and do it. Danny Rule certainly believes it. The players start to believe it. I said it early on in his tenure that when you asked what's he brought in his early days, he brought togetherness, he brought belief, and I think that stemmed over the past few weeks that we're here, a point behind. There's a real confidence that the team can go and do it. They want to be heroes. They want to have winners' medals. They've got a great opportunity, and it doesn't matter how good your away form's been, your home form's been. It's one game at a time. But when you look at the away form, Ox, we've scored 24 goals away from home, 12 less than Ibrox, and conceded 12. That's 4 less than Ibrox. So the away form maybe isn't as bad as we look at. Maybe it's just isolated results. When you look at Motherwell, Easter Road, you look at the kind of games, that's probably where a lot of the focus is. But over the piece, mate, still only having one league defeat away from home, there should be nothing to fear going up to Falkirk. Maybe it's just the fact that they're getting the praise because they've had a season of good performance, but I think AK touched on it the other night. Well, AK touched on it the other night, mate. They're still 20 points behind us, which in a normal season you wouldn't give them much credit for, if you're being honest. But it just shows you the fact that we have had a poor start. We've had the Russell Martin saga, they've had the Nonce saga, and there's still a 20-point gulf in points between Falkirk and the old firm. So it just shows you there's still a gulf there,
I think
mate.
the nonsense saga's been running a wee bit longer than this season at their place, mate, but that's another story.
Well, aye. But it just shows you, mate, there is still that gulf between them. But listen, they deserve the praise because
they've overachieved, brother.
Cup semi-final, top 6 after back-to-back promotions, mate. It is a good achievement for them, but we shouldn't have been here.
Great job he's done. Let's be honest. Credit where it's due, AK. Credit where it's due. You know me.
No, absolutely. And I don't think Rob's meaning to belittle Falkirk's achievements whatsoever, but we were just talking factually where the points tally is. But listen, when you lay down the budgets that Falkirk has and that Motherwell has, that's where they deserve the credit, you know, as well as the type of football that they play and the community clubs that they are. You know, so I don't have a problem giving Falkirk and Motherwell. You know, they've made the league competitive because of the way they've played and the points that they've accumulated, and it's a wee bit of a kind of, you know, a showing up for the likes of Dundee United and Aberdeen's and Hibs. You need to get your act together because our clubs run about you are getting your act together. So it's made for a good spectacle for a neutral point of view. But we've got a job to do now, and it's Sunday. We're looking to go to Falkirk and pick up our first win of the season against them, and hopefully our second wins as the title.
Aye. Listen, get that one out of the way, and then the fixtures. People are saying we've got 4 out of 6, and yeah, they're right away from. But if we can win on Sunday, I don't see why not. All of a sudden, 40% of your games are at home. Well, that's the stats. Mental, isn't it?
It is, mate. It is. It's crazy, and as Danny Road touched on as well. The fact that Hearts and them across the city play before us as well, you don't know what's going to happen in the games. So we're looking at it as 4 away games out the last 6, and how it looks unfair to us, and it is. Let's be fair, it is unfair. But all of a sudden, one result could just change the whole landscape, and in that first game back at Ibrox against Motherwell could be crucial, and it's a home game. So suddenly the fixtures look more favourable because you're back at home. You may be top of the table. You may be able to extend the gap as well. So you never know. There's still twists and turns in this league, mate. As much as the games are running out, there's still twists and turns to go. But as long as we keep winning, focusing ourselves, don't worry about the rest. If they drop points, great. As long as we can capitalise on them and extend the leads as well, then that's the important thing.
I don't think the fixtures are unfair, in my opinion, mate. Well, if you take it, depends how you take it. We've just come in the back of 2 home games. It's a Scottish League. It's a mess, mate, with the fixtures, the whole thing. And then you throw in this split when we've got to go to. We knew we would go to Falkirk for the 3rd time. And because they've got a unique pitch line with Livingston and Kilmarnock, which is ridiculous, AK quarter of the league with plastic pitches, yeah. It's just mental, but that throws up an anomaly. But you've got to play the teams home and away, rightly, but there's just too many anomalies in it. And why have we had 2 home games and then you end up with a split coming when you're going to get 3 away games? Because we were always going to get it the way the fixtures has looked when you looked who was historically going to be in the top 6. Because even if you swapped Aberdeen for Falkirk, say, we were getting up there. The D United for Falkirk, we were getting up there. So we were going to always have 3 away games. But it's just the way the fixtures are thrown out in Scotland. And that was some of the annoyance that the support turned on Russell Martin for AK, because the fixtures were kind to us at the start of the season, and that's a frustration.
It is. And as you've said many times as well, Ox, and you're 100% right, it opens it up for the integrity, the manipulation, all the kind of buzzwords.
I'm not happy with the 2 teams playing AK the last game of the season. That's open.
No,
that's open to manipulation and a thing that you shouldn't have in your league. But that's another story. Yeah.
Absolutely. See what it smacks of me, Ox, when I seen the figures. It says basically the SPFL are saying to Rangers, you better have that league wrapped up by the time it gets to the final game, because if it does get to the final game, we're making sure you don't win it. And we've seen that before when we had the scenario with Aberdeen went to Parkhead the first time and the only time they've won there in the last 10 years, because you knew if they won there, they were stopmas for getting second place. We drew 5 each that day with Neil Lennon at Hibs. So it didn't matter regardless, but the fact that they orchestrated that, that's where it kind of sticks in the throat. So if we're to win this league, we better have it wrapped up by the time he even gets to the final game. That's the only thing that kind of sticks in my throat. And from a Hearts point of view, if you're top of the tops, the split, at this time of the season, then you should be getting a home game. I mean, it should basically be probably Celtic, Hearts at home and Rangers away, so as that are no playing each other or have a direct influence against each other to manipulate a situation like that, Ox. That's the only thing that I disagree with about the whole split thing.
I'm going to ask you a yes or a no question, yeah, and then I'll come back to you. Just quickly put this whole bed to thing, unless somebody phones up that point. Do you like the split? Yes or no, Rob?
No.
AK?
No.
Why AK?
I just, for all the reasons that you've already stated, Ox, I totally agree with you. the manipulation and the corruption, and it's not right.
Rob?
I think it's irrelevant, mate, because you look at the recent results. Livingston have took points off us. They've took points off Hearts, and they're bottom of the table. So what does this split really mean? Nothing, because all teams in this league, particularly this season, can take points off each other. So I think it's an irrelevance, mate, because probably statistically, if you look at it, the bottom six has probably took more points off of teams in the top six, and the top six have took team points off the top six, if that makes sense.
No. I get your point. I get your point. Aye. No, all right. I don't think I've met anybody that likes the split. I really don't, AK. But there you go. There's another story. Yeah, mate.
Ox, just to continue on for what Rob says there, he's 100% right. You've got teams at the bottom of the table fighting for their lives, and that's Livingston, even basically that same relegated. But you've got Kilmarnock all of a sudden starting to take points off of Hearts, Celtic. You've got St Mirren there. That St Mirren's caused Celtic all sorts of problems this year. They beat them in a cup final, and I think they've had the last minute goals basically to beat them the couple of times. So you've got teams there that's probably going to cause more bother to the top teams than the middle of the road teams who are basically just going through the motions. A lot of them, you know.
Aye. Right, come back to us then. Come back to us with the team. Obviously, named their Dairy, no Romans. What are you thinking? Rob?
Obviously a few changes from the weekend, mate. Some enforced. The pitch will play a factor in the team that I think he'll pick as well. I think obviously Butland will start and goal, of course. The back four for me would be Tavernier, simply because of the pitch. If I'm being honest, mate, with Sterling, it's a sad indictment that you've got to rotate a player because of the plastic pitches. But again, we've spoken about it in detail. Giga Fernandez is a centre back. Fernandez comes back in for me over Suter. I think that's self-explanatory. Magoma at left back, of course, and then midfield Raskin, Chukwani. And I'm going to go with the 4-2-3 Ox. I think he'll stick with that formation after the weekend there. And I think he'll go with Gassama, Asgard, and Moore, with Chermiti leading the line. I think Asgard will keep his spot, mate, after his contribution at the weekend. And Gassama, I think he'll get a start because of the impact he made on Saturday as well.
Mate. All right. AK?
I see it slightly different. I think because we've got a couple of week break, that I think he'll start Sterling. I think he's a better defender, but obviously Tavernier gives you options going forward. So for me, I've got Butland, Sterling, Giga, Fernandez, Magoma, Raskin, Chukwani, Asgard, Skov Olsen, Moore, and Majowski.
Skov Olsen, what's your rationale there, AK?
I just think that Gassama and Chermiti gave you good options coming for the bench. I don't think Gassama has started games very well. So just give him minutes and hope he clicks into action. He doesn't warrant the start. Just like you intimated during the week, you thought Gassama had a great effect on the game, and he did. There's no doubt about that. But just Gassama has had loads of opportunities to start well, and he hasn't really done it. So that's clutching at straws a wee bit. But
yeah, Skov Olsen, what do you think, Rob?
I think the impact Gassama had probably gives him the nod ahead of him, if I'm being honest, mate. I think Billy touched on it the other night in the show. He's had 10 appearances and he's chipped in with a few assists here and there. But general play hasn't been great. I know he keeps the simple passes. Ober's mentioned a few times until he jinxed them up until Saturday, where he gave the ball away numerous times. I just feel I don't know if you said there's a few players with small issues. There's rumours that Skov Olsen's one of the players with a small issue. Again, is the picture factor that he comes in, but for me, I think Gassama will get the nod just simply because of the impact he made. And let's be fair, it was one of his better games. in a Rangers shirt. So if we can get the same level of performance from the gas man as we saw in the second half on Saturday, then if he can start that game well, he's a threat. And if he looks as lively as he can be doing that right hand side, that's the kind of effort and performance we're looking for him. He brought energy, he brought drive. And I think that's what we're lacking when we've got Skov Olsen. He's yet to kind of beat a man, take men on. I know his game's to come inside, but when you do that, it becomes congested and it becomes a bit predictable with the play. Whereas the opposite side, you look at Mikey Moore, he can go both ways. Skov Olsen seems to try and favour that left side all the time, inside. But he's got 6 games left, mate, to go and try and show that he's worth taking the transfer option in the summer. Is there enough time in those 6 games? What does he need to do in those 6 games for that to happen? Is it too late? I don't know, but I think the weekend he'll be on the bench.
As we sit this now, mate, I'm not giving you tuppence for him yet.
What would it take, Ox, for him to do in these 6 games then to change your mind? What does he need to do?
Difference maker, mate. Difference maker, yeah. I know he's put the cross in a couple of times for Chimiti's really good goals, but you would need to see him maybe running through, scoring a goal the way that Kearney done, because that's his game, innit? That coming in on the right-hand side, on his left foot, and he curls it round the goal. That's the move. That's modern football. You need to do that and influence again, and move at speed. I mean, I think one of the things I've got an issue with him, AK, is when he wasn't getting the ball away, but even in the forward areas, when he was past it, he was slowing everything down. So, if he is no fit, and we're not seeing the best himself, what he can gaze on the pitch, he's unlucky. But he has to make a difference in games. And if you take that performance last week in the first half, it was pretty abject, if I'm being honest. If that was a young Scottish boy that had come through the reserves and done that, you'd be saying, don't want to see him for a while he develops. He's 26 and an internationalist, but just he might be carrying something and they were trying to shake it off or it's kicked back in. We never know the ins and outs, AK, but if I just critique the performances, he would have to start making a difference. Yeah, I don't think it's rocket science, but that's the way I see it, AK.
Oh, 100%. And don't get me wrong, I'm not in the defensive camp of Skov Olsen thinking he's this wonderful player and he shouldn't be dropped. No, not at all. It's just we've been struggling for that position all year. I mean, personally, I would like to see Ant-Man out there, but he's kind of disappeared as well, and he's come back from Finland, all right. He's travelled tens of thousands of miles. Bizrami, he seems to have disappeared. Diamondi seems to have disappeared. You've had a few players that come and go. I mean, ideally, we would still have Finlay Curtis to rely on, but we don't have that scenario. So we've just got to put a player out there, but deserving or no. Kasama on his performance last year, he deserves to start tomorrow. But has he started any of the games well and made an impact where he produces that 45 minutes? It just looks as if the gaffer's using a pawn sort of thing to just tire that defender down and then unleash Kasama, and you'll get more out of for the team sort of aspect. So that's just how I see it. But it'll be interesting to see what the gaffer makes.
I understand your rationale, and if it wasn't for that cameo last week, and even a few minutes against Aberdeen, he showed an appetite, Gasman. But if you take the 2 cameos away from him, you're not picking him either, if you're honest, bro.
No, you're not, mate. And there's a few players that fall into that camp as well, particularly in that wide area, as AK's touching on. It's almost became a problem area for us. We thought we were going to solve that problem by getting Skov Olsen because of his experience and his pedigree, but unfortunately he's not showed it. I think if he came in and hit the ground running, then obviously you would have him starting every week and you wouldn't be having these conversations. But the gas man just needs to keep that level of performance that he showed at the weekend. I know you're trying to take the 2 away from him in terms of picking him, but if you don't pick him, Antman, as AK says, has been here and there in bits and parts of the season. Who else is there really who can play that position effectively or contribute? You're kind of running out of ideas. You're then putting square pegs in round holes just to fill a position. Whereas I still don't get it, and I know AK's touched on it before as well. He's a right-footed player, but doesn't like playing in the right. It baffles me. You'd think that'd be his more favourable position because he can just drive with the ball, get in behind defenders, put the ball across and get assists in his game. But he doesn't seem to like it for some bizarre reason that we don't know why. But as I say, you take him out of the equation. Who else is there that can play that position? If Scove Olsen's not showing it, Gassama doesn't show the right attitude, then it becomes a head scratching moment again to fill that position.
That's wide right. Attacking positions became, it's became an issue. The GB position, he's been on about it for years, but I've got a gut feeling, and I've nothing to back this up with. I just don't think the manager fancies the man,
You could be right. You could be right. I mean, we don't know how they train or what their attitude's like off the part, how they integrate with the squad. He doesn't appear to be that sort of character, but we don't know. The gaffer does, and as he suggested in his presser, maybe I didn't get it that wrong after all, is what you're saying about Suter coming in and Fernandes getting left out. I think I was having his wee dig back here at the press. Selection vindicated because we won 4-2. So everybody's got opinions in the squad, but there's only one person that counts, and he's going to listen to the medics. He's going to listen to the players. He'll watch how they train. He sees how they perform, and it's up to him to get it right and get us the 3 points that we're looking for.
Aye, listen, I would have rather had Fernandes' little picture playing last week. I think we had maybe a stronger team with a minute. John Suter's come in. I didn't think he had a great game. But you might have played Fernandes. We could have lost the game. You'll never be able to answer that. Ultimately, Danny Rowe's been proved right. We might have criticised John Suter for his performance, but Danny Rowe's got it right because we won the game, Rob.
Of course it has, mate. Of course, and it's fine when you win the game and people look at the lineup before a ball's kicked and you'll question some things or you'll have an opinion on some selections. But when you win the game, it becomes irrelevant. If you draw or lose the game, then obviously it's easy to look at selections and pinpoint it. I mean, if we'd lost or drew that game and you looked at Suter's performance, you would say that he'd have been the fall guy to say, well, wasn't he great defensively for the first goal? Wasn't he great for the second goal? Tried to get up the park. He would become that one guy who would probably take the brunt of the blame because of dropped points. But when you win the game, it's easy to say you get it right. But that's all that matters, as AK says. Danny Rowe picks the team that he thinks is the best to go to the start a game, win is the game. If you need to make changes, you make changes. That's what the bench is there for. Suddenly players become classed as impact players, whether that's guys that can go on and get a goal, control the midfield, or shoot up defensive. Any frailties they've got in the game, that's what the bench is for. So when you win the game, selection's right. When you don't win the game, selection's wrong. That's the world the manager lives in. But I fully expect Fernandes to come back in this Sunday. Ox, I don't know about yourself. What's your team, mate? Me and he gave you yours. What's yours?
Magoma, he mentioned Cornelius. I didn't think we'd see him in a Rangers shirt again, but you never know with Danny Rowe. But Magoma, Sterling, obviously Butler 9 goals. And I think Giga and Fernandes, yeah. And then in midfield, I think you go with Raskin and Tucci. Now then it gets interesting. Will he go with 4-3-3? When might be playing him with bring in Barron? I don't think he will. So Mikey Moore plays. I would have Chermiti up top because Nardini's injured. I would play him for the start, mate, and see where it takes us. Majovsky coming off the bench, maybe, or do I go with him? And you've got Asgard, and you're getting to the same team as last week with Chermiti coming in for Nardini, and then you've got this puzzle on the right-hand side of the pitch, mate. What do you do? Because we all know that Gassam is missuited to the left, so do you play him on the left and bring Moore out to the right when Moore's made the left-hand side his aim? No, I'd start Gassam based on last week's performance, and only that. The attitude he's shown in the cameo against Aberdeen in the second half last week, a game an hour ago. He has frustrated me at times, but he showed an appetite in the 2 games. He's up for the challenge, and we'll see where it takes us. But we're a wee bit short, mate, with some of the knocks all of a sudden. And who was it? I think it was AK mentioned some of the players that's disappeared. You know, Barjami, you'd think he would be maybe looking to grab one of the positions, maybe on the right, but he's no featured. And obviously, Diamante's disappeared a wee bit as well, and so we're still a wee bit short at quality, I would say, because we've only got Miovski as another out-and-out forward. Nardiri, if something happens to him, we're left to one. Or Chimity, sorry, with Nardiri. So that's my rationale, mate, for the team. Right back would be Sterling. I went for Tab last week. The boys got it right. I was wrong because I thought he would be better attacking. I thought Sterling was steady. One of our better players. I don't think he might be the best during the 90 minutes. But I thought the 2 guys that were my best players last week were Nardiri and Gassama in each half, bizarrely. So I would go with Sterling again, because then we'll get 2 weeks. We shouldn't have to worry about it. There's a nagging doubt about playing him in a grass pitch. And by the way, a plastic pitch. By the way, I don't think Tav's always been particularly great on the plastic either.
Oh, you're right, and the rationale is there with your team selection, as I think there is with my Ian and Rob, but it's only our opinion, so anybody thinks otherwise, come and join us and engage your thoughts. But we're just trying to second guess. But as I say, the only person that counts, and he's got all the information in front of him, is our manager, Danny Rowe. And on reflection, over the course, that'll be his 25th league game on Sunday, Ox. Over the 24 games, he's had the majority of decisions right. VAR has obviously had an influence on certain games where we've dropped points, but we've won the majority of them. And we've put ourselves in a position where the opportunity is there. So let's grasp it. As I say, don't fear the challenge, embrace it.
Aye. I think our teams are all pretty similar, Robert.
I think it gets to this stage in the season, mate, where you start to see a bit of consistency with the selection. Obviously, a few injuries and knocks will have a few changes in there in personnel, particularly probably centre-backs, probably the one that would probably cause a few discussions. But the rest of it can almost picks itself, mate, which is good because you want a bit of consistency, especially at this time of the season. And obviously, you can make changes. And as I said earlier, players suddenly maybe become impact players. I said it the other night in the show. Miovski, is he the kind of guy now that when he's sitting on the bench, you look at almost like the way Kemar Roof fell into it, that you need a goal just to ease the pressure or win the game? Is that where Miovski comes into? And that's why I would start Chimity and use Miovski. He showed in the past 2 games that he can come off the bench, get a goal. All right, one was wrongly disallowed, but it shows the appetite and the hunger to come on and make an influence.
Aye. Barjami, Diamonde, what's your take on that quickly before we go to the tune, AK?
Kind of in the dark, to be honest with you, Ox. We don't really know what's happening, but do I like the players? Aye, I think they've got attributes that they offer. But Danny Rowe is kind of went with his tried and trusted so far, but now I think he's maybe boxed into a corner a wee bit with some of the exclusions due to injury. Does he keep the 4-2-2-2 or does he tweak his formation? He suggested earlier in his presser today that the 8-game winning run that they had, they didn't play 2 up front on them, the game, so that they've got options. But I think Bazrami and Diamonde, there is qualities there where they can have some sort of influence on games. But let's see them and let's everybody step up. It's a team game, it's a squad game, so let's see what they've got.
Okay. So let's see what the Fox has got for us. Also, get yourself a mute, gentlemen, because we're going to have a tune.
I don't know if you can see what the Rangers really mean to me in these last few years. I've been afraid that we might drift away, so I've been telling old stories and singing songs that made me think about where we came from. And that's the reason why I feel so very proud today. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. Of Brian Laudrup and Trevor Stephen. Big Marvin Andrews said keep believing. Davy Cooper on the wing. And we remember Gaza with great affection. The day the helicopter changed direction, and Jimmy Baxter was pure perfection. Super Valley scores again. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more than sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. About you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. You know that it would make me more than sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had.
While you are sitting listening on your own, why not take part and give us a phone? We would love to hear your points of view, so get off your bum and call 0141 356 1972.
Yep, thanks for that, Fox. That one's for Albert. Albert, he loves it, Rob. He loves it.
I've heard him sing it, mate. I've heard him sing it.
Oh, I don't know if you have, mate. All right, so obviously some breaking news today. An independent review into what happened on the 8th of March, mate. I think your club have been very, very shrewd with this, and I think they warned them, told them, nobody listened, and the powers that be, I think they're going to look silly, in my opinion, AK.
Aye, that's the news that broke this afternoon at the SFA. A guy called Mark Blackburn He's an experienced consultant who leads match operations under UEFA and FIFA jurisdiction, so he's well experienced in these matters, and they're happy for him to lead an independent review, and Rangers are happy to comply with anything that he's got to say or do on the matter. But I think there was Police Scotland have got a lot of blame, but obviously ignoring Rangers' requests and Rangers' warnings played into the hands of others as well for what happened on the day. It was just an ugly scene for Scottish football and in general, and it was something that could easily have been avoided if they had warned or heeded the warnings that we were giving them, and if Police Scotland had acted better on the day with their crowd control.
Yes, they were told, they were warned, didn't listen. So we'll see what comes out of it, Rob, yeah?
Well, that's it, mate. We know what's going to happen now. Obviously, they'll do the review and everybody will be informed of the outcome of it, the learning points that all parties will need to make. And let's be honest, we won't be surprised to see there'll be more learning points for others than anybody else. So we'll wait and see how it goes. It'll obviously take a few weeks, if not months, to really digest and go through everything that happened. But listen, it's going to obviously be a review that you want to stop any further future problems. I know that will be difficult, of course, but when you can try and avoid a few things, and like AK said, it was obviously things that happened were avoidable if people had just listened, and I think that's going to be the outcome of the review, that there's a lot of learning points to take from it, from an SFA side of things, Police Scotland side of things, and probably the two clubs as well, but we know where the problem lies, mate. We've seen it ourselves and we know how it could have been avoided, so I'm sure this guy will tell it as it is.
Yeah. Just a wee quick one for you to comment on. Mr. Fox has raised it. We talked about it the other night. Surprisingly, AK, no Scottish refs at the World Cup.
Shocker Rooney, Ox. Shocker Rooney. No wonder. They're abysmal, and that's just a pure reflection in how bad they are. And they've not been part of major tournaments or big European matches for long enough, because the standard of officialdom in our country is abject, to say the least. And there's only one guy who was meant to come in and save that and drive the standards himself. So all the fingers should be getting pointed at a certain Mr. Willie Collum, and all the indignations about the VAR discrepancies this year too. It's just one after the other, and he's no helped himself. So I think we're entitled to ask for his head at the end of the season, and what sort of direction are we trying to lead our referees down, because they're no following the IFAB rules a lot of the times either, which isn't helping the confusion about decisions getting made and not getting made.
And there's a root and branch clear out, starting for the top, and some of them have to retire quickly, mate, and fresh. The problem is they need experience, so it's a chicken and an egg scenario, Rob.
It is, mate. It is. It's obviously an ex-referee. Obviously, always usually gets the head of referee job. And ironically enough, it was Willie Collum who was the last Scottish referee to actually take part in a major European competition. I think it was 10 plus years ago. But it just shows you the standard when you've got 180 officials going to a World Cup, and there's not one Scottish man or female. It just shows you where we're at as a nation with our referees and the standards. And I'm glad you kind of brought it up, Ox, because I had a wee look earlier on this afternoon. I know the referees has been a talking point for a large part of this season, and probably continue to the end of the season. And we've of course got Don Robertson on Sunday. You probably won't be surprised to hear that Don Robertson statistically has got the most errors made by a referee this season. In the 19 games he's done, mate, he's had 12 decisions on field overturned by VAR. And if you take the top 5 officials in your league, Robertson, McLean, Beaton, Walsh, and Dickinson, they have accounted for almost 43% of all VAR corrections this season. So there you go. That's why they're not going to the World Cup, because week in, week out, they're making mistakes. But unfortunately, they're not getting held to account for it, because the guy that sits at the top of A3 is doing it for himself. Let's be honest, he's in it for himself. He's not doing anything for the good of the game. And AK's right. Things need to change at the top all the way down to the guys on the pitch.
Well, I think you're very, very wrong. I think he's doing exactly what he's in it for. AK.
Well, he doesn't lead sermons at Carfin Grotto for nothing. Is what you're suggesting, Ox. So I'm sure. I'm sure his bosses will be very pleased with the job that he's doing.
Yes. Well, maybe they'll not be if we can win these 6 games, mate. Yeah.
Well, they're trying everything. They're trying everything, Ox.
Yes. Yes. Well. We'll see where it goes. Sad and diamond it again. Maybe in Big Doncaster will look at it, yeah.
After he looks at his state packet, maybe.
All right. You ready for it?
As always, it's a highlight of the week. We look forward to it.
Are you ready for it, AK?
Is this the crimson banner going up or the white flag coming down?
That's not very nice. You having a go at the gym. Yeah.
How would that Dido song stuck in my head all day?
You with a Dido stuck your head all day. That'll be another sick note. You're in the up with the pictures, Robert. That'll be good, won't it?
It'll definitely be a first sick line for that, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Did you misspell Dido?
There was no Vaseline involved.
That's even worse.
AK. You know, but I listen. See where it goes with the referees, but get yourself in mute because it's time for Southside Super 6.
Welcome to Southside Super 6. And get ready for your weekend's fix. He finds it hard to get them right, 'cause most of the time they are shy.
Hi, and welcome to Southside Super 6 for Saturday the 11th of April. The selections are all to win. Southampton, Barnet, Chesterfield, Salford, Middlesbrough and Stoke. Take all 6 selections and it pays 23-1. Good luck, everybody. He's not giving one to the grand.
Well, you have just heard this week's picks are run out and bet like dicks. The sane amongst you will give it a miss, 'cause for years he has just been taking the piss.
You got that, gentlemen?
Yep.
Yes. Yep. All written down.
That's a tenner gone this week.
Another tenner.
Right, beans and toast for another week.
He never told us to double our stake last week, did he?
No. Aye, that was good.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Good luck, big man. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. He never gave us his usual for the national. I was looking quickly earlier on. I don't know why, but it was the mayor. I can't mind her name. I'll have a look, see if I get it. That was the one that attracted me. Quite well fancied, right enough. But get the name. Right, listen. Big game. It feels real. This feels real. When we started coming with this run under Danny Rowe, and it started getting, the momentum started maybe, if you're honest, it was maybe Parkhead when the momentum started building And we won the 2 games against Aberdeen. You're thinking, okay, yeah, we've got a chance of getting back into this. I don't think we would get this close so quickly, if I'm honest, even then. But we are. And if we won on Sunday, you never know where we could sit in. You know, let's just say they win at home and Hearts and Motherwell are still going to keep fighting for that European place as a draw. We could win on Sunday and be a point clear at the top of the league, mate. It is absolutely mental, AK.
Well, one of the journalists touched on is in the presser there that all 3 teams haven't won since January the 11th this year, and I think that's the only time where all 3 teams has won the entire season. So basically, he's saying somebody's due to drop points, and it could very well be at Tynecastle. I watched them last week, Ox, just to see what sort of vein of form they were in, and for a good part of the game, they were on top of Livingston, but it was a 2-1 scoreline. As soon as Livingston scored, they dropped. They get nervous. Livingston were, they penetrated their back line. They got another man sent off, so they're going to be missing another key defender for them. They've got Shanklin coming back, and him and Braga have scored the majority of their goals, and wee Devlin in the midfield has been decent, but they're starting to show a lot of nerves. I think in their last 4 away games, they've only picked up 1 point. Their last 4 home games, they've only won 1-0. So the nerves are there. They know what's in front of them, but they don't have the experience to deal with it. And Derek McInnes is the exact same. He was in a great position with Aberdeen when we were out the league, and Ronnie Dyler was their manager, and Aberdeen blew it. So that they've no got a lot of experience to kind of fall back on. Near to be right enough, but we're exerting pressure, and pressure does funny things to other teams, as we're seeing.
I just think that maybe they're finding their level, mate, with the results. When we played Hearts, when they beat us at Ibrox, and obviously you look at the result in isolation, they beat us 2-0 that day. They didn't impress me one jot. They played decent against us for about 30 minutes at Tynecastle. We were all over the place. Again, shot myself in the foot with the mad looping pass for Butland that caused one of the goals. And then the second half, yes, they could have scored more goals on the breakaway, but they were pegged back, and we should have created a lot more chances. And they petered out 2-1, and I would argue maybe they deserve to win, but you've also got the Majovsky goal, which changes games. So but they've not impressed me one jot in the 3 games I've seen them, mate, and they've beat us twice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sound as if that's sour grapes. It's just what I've seen and what I've watched. Robert?
I totally agree, mate. They're sitting top of the table because they've won the most points so far this season, but you wouldn't say that they've been the best footballing side or the best side to watch. I think for me, Motherwell have showed that. I know they've fell off the last couple of games. They've lost 3 of their last 4. But you look at Hearts, they've got Shanklin, they've got Braga, who we've seen can cause problems, but they haven't been really exactly free flowing. And there's been a few games recently where they've scraped 1-0 victories. You go back to a game they were up at Dens Park, they were 1-0 up. Craig Gordon makes a great save to keep it 1-0 and get the 3 points. But if that was us, we were all saying 1-0 wasn't good enough and we were scraping by. But Hearts have been doing that as well in recent times, so they've not been exactly the leaders because of their style of play or the free flowing football. They've been up there on merit because they've won the most points. That's all you can really say. But listen to the leaders, we've got to hunt them down until we become the top team and get back to the top of the league. And you never know, as you say, it could be come Monday night or Sunday night after the full times whistle's gone. It could be us. And I firmly believe they'll be dropped points at Tynecastle. I'm in the same camp as AK. I think Motherwell have shown that they've got, all right, as I said, they've lost 3 of the last 4, but they'll find form again. I think there could be couple of points dropped there. I'm going to actually go for a draw with Hearts and Motherwell Ox, I think, on Saturday, which again opens the door to us to go a point clear. So that's what could happen. And if that does happen, then great. It's up to us to capitalise on Sunday. But listen, as I said, they've not been the most exciting team to watch this season, but they're there because they've won the most points. That's all you can say.
That's a statement I never thought I'd hear on Rangers Radio. I'm as camp as AK. Did I pick that up right?
No, I'm in the same camp as
Oh,
AK.
sorry, mate. I just missed. Sorry, AK.
I'm not a fan of Dido.
Your dildo. You need to clean your ears out, Ox.
I just picked up right, mate. I've got a habit of doing that, mate.
There's a lot to play for, Ox, and I think I agree with Rob there. I think Motherwell are capable of going to Tynecastle.
They're fighting for that European slot, AK. They're
well in the mix for it. They're leading it, aren't they? Being fourth place.
What I'm saying is, I think Hibs are only 3 points behind them.
Correct. And then Hibs have get Hearts to come at them the first game of the split as well. So I think it's an amazing start, that though. See, when you consider, Hearts have been the top of the table for months now, and there's only one weekend the entire season where all three teams have won in the same weekend. That's an amazing start, but it's a reflection in maybe the competitiveness of the league this year, and also a reflection sometimes of how bad we've been, how bad Celtic have been, and sometimes how bad Hearts have been, because the points advantage is slowly but surely slipped away, dwindled away to nothing. And whose fault's that for Hearts? Who do you blame there? They can't blame anybody but themselves.
But see, when you see that, you use that stat, mate. I've just quickly looked at the top of the English. Like, yeah, the last 6 games, and it only goes back to the last 6 games of form I've got, yeah. But there's only once in the last 6 games, the last 6 sequence of games, that they tap 3 of 1 once, all one at the same time.
Aye, that's fair enough, but once the entire season, that's a start and a half.
Obviously, you need to see that whole form laid back to see what that is. But it just shows you that. I think I read once a few years back that somebody backed, it was Rangers, Celtic, Chelsea at the time, Man United, and it might have been Man City. They were the sort of dominant teams, if you like, at that period, right? Maybe just before we went down, and backed them heavy and never stoated in the period they done it, mate, because there was always one of them didn't win. Aye.
Was that when the Southside Super Six got born?
Aye, that was a Southside Fab Five. But interesting. Look, mate, I hope we get a bit of luck. In a perfect world, the two of them we get beat 2-0, and we won 1-0. Yeah, and we're all happy boys, and we've extended our goal difference, we've extended our points, but ultimately it's about us winning. Chermiti, concerns, Rob?
No, not really, Ox, if I'm being honest. I think a lot of people, again, would look at his goal scoring record, but I think because we've had so many goal scorers in the past few games, I think the last 15 goals we've scored, we've had 13 different scorers, and Chermiti being one of them. I think the goals are starting to be spread amongst the team. So for me, if he didn't have that, then because he's your vocal point, your striker. But again, he's a bit like Nadiri. He brings other things to the games, maybe not just goals that we don't really focus on and we don't see as much. But I do obviously want him to start scoring goals and see him scoring goals or contributing at least with assists. But his general play has improved over when he first started. When you look back at the games, we were sitting scratching our heads going, who have we bought here and where's this going to go? We could only see it going one way, if we're all honest. we said it many times in this show. We didn't think he was going to be a guy cut out for a Rangers jersey, but he's contributed, Ox, and I just want him to contribute going forward. But I've not got the concerns that he's not scoring because of the goals chipped in by the others around him.
AK, you mentioned you had a bit of concern.
On Chermini?
Yeah, because I think in your team you had him coming up the bench.
Aye. Well, I just liked his impact for last week. He's also no scored against Falkirk. I've said before he's scored against 3 teams this year. Two massive teams that the opposition were up against in Hearts and Celtic. But I think Josh touched on the other night. You want your Rangers striker to be hurting every team and be the teams to be fearful of playing up against him. If he's no hurting them, then they're not going to be fearful of him. I just think Miovski, unleash him. You know, if he's playing for his Rangers career and he's out there with a hunger, Rob says he scored 2 in his last 2, 1 get chopped off for the handball in Barn, which was harsh on Miovski. But if he's showing that hunger and desire to go out there and put the ball in the back of the net, then I think just unleash him and give him the start. But again, it's just my option. If Danny Roll chooses Chermiti, I'll support Chermiti and hope he scores, and just as long as Rangers win.
Aye, here. I just wondered what your thoughts were. Listen, what you used to thinking in this camp for 5 days? Do you want me to give you my take on it?
I go for it.
Did you say your camp for 5 days?
I'm going to be used to it. Don't want to be the odd one out.
Rangers for everyone, anyone.
Listen, you need to give me a little some of your rainbow laces, AK, yeah? Don't want to be the odd one. Right, listen, here's how I see it, right? If Danny Rowe thinks it's the right thing to do for various reasons, what you touched on, getting together, team bonding, whatever, yeah, it'll only be hindsight. As long as we win against Falkirk and beat Borough Ibrox, it'll not be even spoke about again. Unless if we go and win the league, people think it's a masterstroke. If he thinks it's going to help us, give the manager the tools he asked for, especially at this time of the season in this position. Back him. He also said the board are gone and they're going to sit down away from the bright lights that you are, maybe, and then they're going to plot and plan. Yeah, which if they can do that in a relaxed environment and get the right decisions, no problem. I don't know if the weather's going to be spectacularly better. Yeah, don't think it was any warmer in Spain than it was in the UK on Wednesday. But if they think that's the right thing to do, the manager, even if it was if they were going up to the Highlands, down to the South England, wherever they were going, and the manager thought it was the right idea, in this situation, I'd back the manager. That's my rationale. Rob?
I've got absolutely no issue at all with it, mate, if I'm being honest. As you say, if it's what Danny Rowe thinks is best for the club and the best for the players, just to get away from, let's be fair, first and foremost, the media here. Just get away over in Spain. I know there'll still be media over there trying to get what they can get, but out the main focus, then take them away, get together, as said there, work on the training ground, but also off-field, the activities they can do. I mean, we slated Russell Martin when they took the squad over to Loch Lomond for a dip after a defeat, and it wasn't a good look. But morale in the squad's a lot different now than it was then. Get them together, keep that strong bond going off the field, do the training camp, no issue whatsoever. You've got a free week there. As I said, take them out the limelight of the Scottish media. And as you said as well, mate, the board is going, which I found interesting, that it said it's going to have the opportunity to sit down and discuss, and it shows you that the planning started. I know we said it a few weeks ago in an interview that planning had started for the summer, and it certainly seems that the foot's to the floor with that one as well. So everything around it seems sensible and logical to me. Of course, it'll be highlighted if things don't go our way. People could say that training camp cost us or whatever, but listen, it won't be spoken about, as you say, if we go and win the league. It's just a 5 days away, get the team together and just keep that morale and bond up and out the limelight, as I say, from the Scottish media.
Listen, if we don't do it and we didn't win the league, there might be people who say, well, we should have had a training camp. Some people will not like it. My point is, I've not got a great view on it. My view is, if the manager thinks it's important to help us, that's my rationale, AK.
Completely agree with the two of you. I just think it's a common sense thing. And I like the fact that the manager spoke about it today. What you suggested there, Rob, he's going to have a strategy meeting with the board and the recruitment team and see where they are and speak about potential targets. So already, without knowing how this season's going to transpire, they're already thinking ahead for next season, which is great planning and great forward thinking for the people in charge. I'm sure our owner, Mr. Kavanagh, will take a strong interest in that and get up close and personal with the players, the management team, the coaches, everybody. It's a team effort for the top of the three to the bottom. And I think we've just got to support whatever they decide today. So I think I'm all for it. All for it. Touched on it again, his experiences at Bayern Munich, the season they won the Champions League. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us.
Yes, and as we move into the last half an hour of the show, let's hear for you as the Rangers go for the league.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye. We asked this and speak about it quite a lot. I don't. When we played at Falkirk the last time, and if you remember, it wasn't the greatest performance, and we actually were fortunate to get a pointer for honesty. We as a club were so flat, and look at us now. I never seen it coming. I thought any manager would improve us, but I didn't think we would get where we've got, and hopefully we'll get where we're going to go. AK, then Rob.
Oh, there's no doubt he's had a massive positive impact on the players and the everybody generally at the club. We were low, no doubt about that as well, and we were questionable about the direction the new owners had for us, and the players that we were seeing weren't an improvement to the players that we'd let go. And there was just question marks, more questions than answers, shall we say. But Danny Rowe has scraped everything back. He's breathed new life into players that we didn't think had any opportunity, impressing us. And he's got us back on track. And we're doing just simple things, making the game simple tactics, simple instructions, and just basically winning bottom. The respect to the players and his bottom respect to the support. There's still question marks out there with certain supporters because we've not won nothing yet, and he's had an opportunity there, two opportunities to make a mark in the cups, and we've just came up short. You could say VAR influenced that certainly the League Cup game at Hampden, but an opportunity missed against Celtic at Ibrox. We basically dominated them for the entire game, and they weren't full strength. So that, listen, it's no, perfect the way Stevie G suggested the other day. But if he wins this title, then there's a lot of pluses, a lot of tick boxes with the supporters who are still questioning the direction of Danny Rowe and certain players on the team.
Listen, people are entitled to their opinion. I just think they like Clement. He's a professional guy, and I think I don't think he suffers so gladly. That's the impression I get. I've nothing to back that up, as I keep saying, Rob. I think he's done a tremendous job, initially under difficult circumstances, and then the pressure's grown for good reason, and he's handled that well.
I spoke about it the other night, mate, when you asked a kind of similar question, and I mentioned the character of Danny Rule, the person, rather than Danny Rule, the manager. And to come into the squad when he did, when everything was flat, it was all doom, it was all gloom. There was no kind of connection between players. There was no connection between the supporters and the players. To fix that, first and foremost, from day one, to then start winning games, to get us into positions where we were competing in games, we're going on cup runs, performances in Europe improved. All right, we knew it was an uphill task, and it was probably too far gone when he came into the door. But domestically, there's been improvements to get us here. If there wasn't improvements, we wouldn't be sitting 1 point off the top of the league. So he's done a tremendous job, Ox. And, you know, they mentioned it in the press conference with the question. The last time we were up there, you've seen the pictures, you've seen the videos. Martin walking across that pitch, everything was gone. At that point, everything was flat. We've got an opportunity here to go again to the same place on Sunday, and it becomes night and day, where a victory could either see us still a point behind, if not better off, and it just shows the transformation in such a short space of time. I know you keep saying it, you never saw it coming. Many of us didn't think it was possible. A lot of us thought it was difficult, but it wasn't over till it was over. But this is a real opportunity we've got, so he deserves an immense amount of credit. Him, his coaching staff, the players as well, and the support as well for sticking by him when things got a bit tough, when they were dropping points. We've stuck by him. He stuck by the players. He showed that belief in them, and hopefully now that they can repay it and get him a trophy and get us the title as well.
Right. And the players need a bit of credit, AK, yeah. You know, they've responded. I mean, Russell Martin had me baffled what he was trying to do and what he was trying to achieve. I thought it was crazy. And he was trying to fight everybody, you know, his attire, to the players, for his team selection, for the style of playing certain games. He was trying to take on everybody. And look, to be better at everybody, at everything, you need to be a special individual. And I think there's only one of them, and he's in A, D, and BC before his name, you know, after his name, sorry. You know, so I don't know, mate. I really don't know what he was trying to achieve. And Danny Rowe came in, and it was a difficult job, mate, a real difficult job, because I think the dressing room had gone completely, in my opinion. The support had gone, you know, and he came in. There's no window, so you've got to deal with what you've got to January. And he done it, mate.
There's certain managers can... No, every manager can come into the club and it's broken like that. The disconnect was there with the players, the staff, the support. You know, Ibrox was toxic. That Hearts game earlier this season, it was just, wow, the poison was there in the atmosphere, and you just weren't... A lot of the supporters weren't even interested in the game. They were just there to give Russell Martin abuse, which I thought was very wrong. And, you know, but you could understand some of the vitriol that was directed towards them. But at the end of the day, you're a Rangers supporter. You're there to support the team. That's the kind of... That's why you're there, first and foremost, you know, to back the team. But the game is irrelevant for a lot of the people there. So that was always going to end one way, and the sooner the better for a lot of support, which indeed did happen. And then it was up to Andrew Kavanagh to own the other decisions, which indeed that happened as well, with getting rid of Patrick Stewart and Thelwell, Kevin Thelwell. So we decided he had made errors. He took it in the chin, and we led a new direction. There was candidates there. We were all talking about Kevin Muscat and potentially Stephen Gerrard himself came into the mix. He was interested in it, but he done an interview not that long ago where he admitted to McCoist that he wasn't a magician. Well, that's the reason why he didn't take up, because he didn't think he had the ability to turn that squad into a potential title winning team. Well, Danny Rowe did, and Danny Rowe has. So that's your guy. And I couldn't be more pleased if we going to win this title now. Oaks, because it says a lot about Danny Rowell's character to take up a challenge like that and believe in himself and not just talk. Actions speak louder than words, and he's got us up that position there. But the players, you're right, the players should take the credit now, but it's them that's put us in the position as well. So don't get too big for your boots, some of them. But there's still 6 games to go, and it's not until we see red, white, and blue ribbons on the trophy till you say job done.
Aye, that's fair enough, mate. Rob, it's definitely been one of the strangest seasons I've ever known.
I can't remember one like it, mate, in my generation. It's certainly been one that people will remember, and obviously there's stories that could be written for all sorts of scenarios that play out. I mean, if we go in and win the league, which I'm sure we'll be doing, I hope we do, the story of us coming out of nowhere from that point, disadvantage, right back into the mix, winning the title is a story. If Hearts were to win it, then there you go, the first team outside the Old Firm to win it.
Don't say it. Don't say it, mate.
No, I mean, it's just the way season's been, mate. There's stories where you can write anything, but obviously the big story will be us winning it. And I think, again, that's testament to Danny Rowell and the players that from out of nowhere, people had written us off, thought we were struggling to even get into top 6, into European positions. Now we're in a conversation, and we've been in a conversation for a while about a title. And if you go and do it, I said it the other night, if you thought 55 was a massive party, then 56 is going to be even bigger, just because of what this season has done, how it started, and what we've been through. To come away at the end of the league title would be absolutely a great achievement. Maybe even bigger than 55 because of what's happened.
Well, I've kept my Southside Super 6 winnings to start the kitty off. There you go.
So a bag of Maltesers.
To start.
I've got a 10 pence mix up then.
You know, I get your rationale. Aye, it's going to be interesting. Glasgow could be interesting, eh? Okay.
Aye, I'm sure the Polish will be in duty that day in numbers.
They came up with these fixtures.
Aye, I know. But it's showing interest in it. As I say, Sky. I heard you the other day why the Monday night, and I believe I was listening to who was it, somebody in Sky saying that they're going to have these English games on the Sunday because it's a bank holiday weekend. There's a couple of big English games after the Rangers Hearts game, so it's all to tie in with them. Basically, that's who's dictating football, the times and it's far from perfect for any supporters that's heading along to Tynecastle that night. But I'm afraid that's the poisons of football, and money, and these TV companies are dictating kick-off times. They don't care about the support. It's all about the armchair fan, and that's why we've got VAR now, Ox. That's the road that we've been led down.
Well, I thought VAR was coming to take the rickets out the referee's decision and help the referees. I didn't think it was going to be some part of an integral game for people watching at home rather than people in the stadium. They've got that so wrong. England's got it, well, it's 10 times better than what Scotland's got. Let's be honest, AK, yeah. And it became a farce in Scotland. The camera angles, the pitches, the lines across the pitches, the refereeing decisions when they're getting it wrong. I think the classic this season was the St Mirren red card when the Motherwell player took a dive and got rightly rescinded, and he got any bother. Rightly so, mate. Yeah. So that was the classic when VAR got involved with that. There was a penalty the other night. The Liverpool player, a blatant push on the PSG player.
Yep, seen it. I was going to bring that up to you, where even the European, the Champions League. I mean, how was that no given as a penalty with VAR? The guy's in full flow. He's about to shoot. He shoves him in the back. Nah, nothing to see there.
But the question I would ask was, how did the referee miss it?
Aye, I know. Aye, it's scandalous. And and by the way, PSG had another penalty claim before that, where the guy tackled him from behind. He made contact with his knee, thigh area, coming in the back of him. He goes down. It should have been a penalty. Again, that get waved away. So Liverpool could have been coming out that game 4-0 down. Instead of that, it's only 2-0. You know. So even at that level, they're having an influence on things. Re-refereeing the game.
Aye. It's all right re-refereeing again if they get it right, Rob.
Well, that's the problem you've got is it's re-officiating the game using VAR, and then you've got this panel who then look at the decisions that are made, and essentially they'll say it's a correct or incorrect decision. So a game's getting officiated 3 times. But at the end
So
of the day,
they say it's right. How you know replaying the game?
well, that's the problem. I was just going to touch on what you said there about the St Mirren red card.
Aye.
Nick Walsh gave the red card, and if you remember back to Tannadice, Diamonde gets sent off for something very similar, and it was Nick Walsh that produced that red card that day as well. But the boy Slattery obviously gets his punishment for diving essentially and gets the match ban. But what happens to the official who's made that error in the first place? The officials in VAR who have made that error? Nothing. So I know Motherwell came out and said, well, our player, I will accept it, but the officials have to be questioned. So you've got decisions getting overturned by VAR. You've got then decisions overturned by or judged incorrectly given by a KMI panel, but nothing happens to the referees. Why? Why are they not held to account? That's the question I'd be asking, because you can't then trust the same officials who have got a decision wrong either on field or in a room in VAR to then go and do another game the following week. It's fine, we'll learn from it. When? When are you going to learn from it? That's all you hear from Willie Collum in that show is, I will learn from it. When? Because we've not seen it yet. And we're not going to see it, if I'm being honest.
Aye, that was a shocker. I mean, there's us talking about the good of Scottish football again. I mean, never catch on, UK.
I know. But listen, see on that Slattery one with Motherwell and St Mirren, there was actually one highlighted in the Old Firm game. I can't remember if it was a 2 week straw, but I think it was a 2 week straw where Chermiti and Trusty was holding on to the ball, and it was our foul, and Chermiti wanted the ball off him, and he slapped it out of his hands. Trusty went down holding his face, looking for Chermiti to get sent off. No retrospective action there, funnily enough. You remember it? No.
I've erased
I remember it.
I've erased that week from my memory, mate.
But it's the same context, though, Lux. That's what I'm saying. Somebody, a professional football player's trying to cheat, trying to con the referee into getting a Rangers player sent off to seek an advantage for his own team, and they didn't fall for it this time. But there's no retrospective action on him. You know, where's the consistency? That's all we're asking.
Aye. I get that, mate. I mean, I thought it was going to be a good thing for the game. I thought it would take out the rickets. You know, it's made nobody knows the offside rule, nobody knows the penalty rule now. You know, and it's just no helped. And I think they've overcomplicated it. You should sort of maybe look at other sports and maybe learn how you improve it. But obviously, first and foremost, you want the referees to improve, and then VAR's not in the game that often. There you go.
That's the question, Ox. Is the problem VAR, the technology, or those who control the technology? It's a different question, I know, but
in Scotland, it's both, mate.
I don't doubt that. I don't disagree with that as well. The camera angles, particularly, is disgraceful at some of the grounds, but the referees, for me, are relying too heavily on VAR to bail them out.
I would say that the officials are 80% of the problem. Yeah.
I agree with that.
You know, hopefully, we're not talking about officials on Sunday, AK. We're talking about good football, one in both halves, and us happy bears.
Absolutely. Aye. The less we talk about officials, it means that they probably had a decent game. The more that we're talking about them, it means they've had an influence. So you're right. Falkirk are a decent team. They've proved that. They're capable of raising their games. They went to Fair Park last week. They've won. They've demolished Kilmarnock there in recent weeks and caused Hearts and Celtic some problems as well. So but it's up to us. It's about effort, desire, application. All the traits that we expect in a Rangers player, and just go out there and win. That's all we're asking. So, but we're under no illusions. It's going to be difficult, but you're asking us to go to a promoted team and to go and get 6 points out of 2 games against them in the running, the title running. I think you would have took that at the start of the season, and certainly now we're in that position. Well, let's go and do it.
Here, Rob.
Well, it's up to us to win the games and score the goals. But when you say there about officials, you're not speaking about them. We scored 4 on Saturday, yet we still spoke about John Beaton's refereeing performance. So it's always probably going to be in the mixer. But as long as we score enough goals in the game to ultimately win it, regardless of what decisions they make in the game, then we're better off for it. Of course we are, because it gives us the 3 points which we need and we want at this stage of the season. It's that close that you don't want any slip-ups. Even a draw now, you can just imagine the reaction that people would think it's a chance gone if certain results don't go our favour. But it's up to us focusing ourselves. Danny Rose said it. We win Sunday, we don't care about the other two. They'll take care of themselves. As long as we keep winning our games, we'll win this league. And that starts come Sunday away to Falkirk. And I don't fear any problems, mate. I don't fear anything.
Aye, and by the way, for the record, Beaton did lose the plot, didn't he? In the middle of that first half, it was a shocking performance, wasn't it? And by the way, there was some of them for the D United as well, wasn't he? He just lost the plot. It was embarrassing.
Oh, he did. He did. As you say, that first kind of 20-minute period in the first half, particularly, he just seemed to have lost control. He looked like an amateur referee. For a guy of his so-called experience, he just seemed to not know what he was doing, or where he was going, or whatever, what decision he was getting. It was baffling at times, but again, it's the refereeing standards this season, and they've certainly dropped over the past few seasons, Ox. But as long as we score goals to win games, then listen, we'll discuss their performances as it's part of the game. We'll discuss them, we'll critique referee and decisions, whatever. But as long as we win the games, that's what matters the most.
Yep, win the game. That's all that matters. AK.
Aye, that's it. 3 points. 3 points. Falkirk, plastic pitch. Aye, they adopt a different style of play. Had an interesting wee conversation with Rob earlier. How would you describe Falkirk as a team? Would you say they're a long ball team, or a team that like to play the ball on the deck? And I think the pitch dictates a lot of how they actually play. But they're a young team. I noticed that. Barney Stewart and the boy Calvin Miller have contributed with goals and assists as well. But generally, their manager John McGlynn likes to play some decent football, but he's also got to play to the surface. And if the surface doesn't allow to play fast attacking football, then you've got to adapt. So we've got to adapt, and that's where the likes of Fernandez coming back in. If it's aerial duels, him and Giga seem to win their fair share. And also we can be a threat in the opponent's box for set pieces. So there's more ways to win a game than just, passing football. You take your chances when they're there. You've just got to play to your strengths. And I think Asgard is going to be a key player, particularly now that Naderi's dropped out the picture. I think he's got attributes that the manager likes. And again, he's playing for his future with a lot of the support for next season. So Asgard, if he's contributing with goals or assists and linking up playing stuff in the D's absence, then so be it. But it's a team effort, pal.
Aye, I've not been Asgard's biggest fan. I just think he's got a style that the way he plays the game, it sometimes can look lazy, but he's definitely got technique. But awareness, no. And we've seen that. We've seen the Jekyll and Hyde in Asgard and just in one game there on Saturday, Robert.
We did, Ox. But one thing you've got to give him credit for is after that chance in the first half, he didn't really shy away from anything. He kept going, he kept digging in. He got his goal. He contributed as well. So he could have cracked under the pressure and let it go to his head, but he stuck to his guns. He had a decent performance, one of his better ones that we've seen of late. But Akey's right, he could become a player that makes a difference. Any player could. That's all we're asking for is if there's a standout player there, they can go and become the hero, get the goals, get the assists, become the difference maker that you said Scove Olsen needs to be. Anybody in that team, if it's Asgard, then we'll be singing his praises when it's due, but we'll critique as well if it's not up to par and up to standard. But he's got the attributes. Can he just do it now in these 6 games if he's going to be playing the part, especially if Nadir is out? He could become highly influential, as AK said, in that final third.
All right. Predictions for Sunday, AK.
Southside will kill me here, but I'm going for a 2-1 Rangers win.
Okay. Don't put me down for a pallbearer. I'll be too upset. Rob?
Any victory, mate. Any victory. But if I was going with a score, I'd go 2-0 Rangers. But I'll take any victory.
I'm going for us to win both halves, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
And to win the second half by a 2-goal margin. And to come out 3-0 winners, mate.
And I would take that before a ball's kicked, mate. We'd take that. Helps the goal difference as well.
Right, there you go. I don't know if that's my dream or my hope, but there you go. Optimistic, AK, optimistic.
Aye, as always, Ox. Listen, the goal difference could become a factor, and we've got quite a big advantage on Celtic and Hearts. So, aye, listen, if we're winning with a couple of goals, and it's all good.
Right. Right, last word for your good self, AK.
Aye, thanks again, Ox. Yourself and Rob, the Takey team, and everybody that's listening. Hope we enjoyed the show. So, aye, we look forward to Sunday. A nice victory would do. Keep the pressure on. Win the Rangers.
Yeah. Well, Rob, last word.
Cheers for having me again, mate. Good to be on with yourself and AK. Excitement's building ahead of Sunday. Nerves are kicking in a wee bit as well, if I'm being honest. But listen, big chance to get 3 points on the board again, and you never know where we'll be come full time on Sunday afternoon. So let's go up the Falkirk and get the job done. Come away with 3 points, and then have a wee break before we go to Motherwell at Ibrox. I'm on the Rangers, as AK said. Cheers for having me as always, mate.
Aye, always a pleasure to have the two of you on. Thanks to your two selves for doing the show, mate. I was enjoyed it. Some interesting talking points. Thanks to Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals in the background. Thanks to everybody for listening. Rangers Radio will be back at 11 o'clock with the team news as a build up to a Rangers victory away at Falkirk. Enjoy the weekend. I hope everybody has a bit of luck in the Southside Super 6 and picks a winner in the national with your pin. Take it away, Old School Blue.